clearing up some confusion on calling versus believing. So the sin of spirit is a cancer in the body of Christ. There's quite a lot of pastors in IFB, whatever, and not only those people that claim to be faith alone, that teach salvation by calling. So both ways of using calling is always a problem. Calling for salvation. You do not call for salvation, spiritual salvation. You believe. Calling is not believing. Believing is not calling. They're different. Calling does not equate to believing. Some people teach, it's not enough to believe the gospel. You have to call. You have to pray. You have to ask. You have to call on the name of the Lord for salvation. So they use calling to justify a sinner's prayer for salvation. And other people are like, no, I'm not one of those people. I don't teach calling that you have to pray, but calling is believing. So how you call them Lord for salvation is by believing, which is just confusing. So I'll clear it up by teaching doctrinal truth. I think it is Bible teachers. You do not call for salvation, you believe for salvation. And in Romans chapter 10, when it talks about calling the name of the Lord for salvation, it's not to talk about spiritual salvation. God has never given spiritual salvation to somebody by calling, which means praying, by asking, by confessing. You're saved by faith alone, and the calling in Romans chapter 10 is saved people that got saved by believing, which is the only way that you get saved. Calling, meaning praying, for physical salvation. As a Christian, prays to God for salvation from physical health problems or other circumstantial issues. So calling is not believing, and believing is not calling. So it's not that, you're not saved by prayer, but your calling for salvation means believing for salvation. No, calling is calling, it's prayer. Calling equals prayer, and you don't pray for salvation. You believe for salvation, spiritual salvation. Calling for salvation means praying to God for salvation from physical problems, physical salvation. Nobody's ever gotten saved by praying spiritually. God has only given salvation by faith alone. And that's the only way He gives salvation now. Calling is not believing. Believing is not calling. They're not one and the same thing. Calling is prayer, and you're not saved by prayer. Believing is how you're saved. Calling does not mean believing. So in Romans chapter 10, calling the name of the Lord for salvation, let's talk about physical salvation. Saved people, they got saved by believing, call on the name of the Lord for physical salvation, meaning praying for salvation from physical problems.